Morning, folks. Excuse me. This morning's soap is brought to us by Gold Shave. Name of this one here is Haberdasher. That's President Harry Truman there on the front. This 5 ounces of soap. I've scraped a little bit out of there, out of the container there. It's fairly firm in the container. Really nice scent. I have links down below, especially one to give you a better description of what the scent is. If I remember right, it's got bergamot, lavender, vetiver, I think of oak moss, tonka bean. It's got a number of different scents in there. This one here is really nice. It's a nice scent. Got it whipped up here with the a brush I got from Gold Shave. Really nice brush handle, like this one. It's the only one that I have that's like this. Makes it pretty unique. Got it whipped up here in a small bowl. Of course, I got the matching aftershave. I did this again. Hang on a second. Excuse me. Got a little bit of a frog in my throat this morning. Got the alum block, no rubber band this morning. Humphrey's witch hazel is citrus scented, but is mentholated now. And the shaver, this will be the last shave this week for this one here. This is the Parker Semi Slant, and it is sporting a feather blade in it, so we're going to see how it works out for me today. I didn't shave yesterday, so I got 2 days worth of beard growth here. See how it works together, the shaver as well as the feather blade. I've got links down below for all this, as it goes for the link to Gold Shave, as well as for the Semi Slant Parker, and also I've got a link down below for what is called a Gentleman's Gazette. It will give a little bit more explanation about the President Truman in his venture off into, I guess you might say, like a men's warehouse. In other words, he had his own shop with a partner, with dealing with men's fine clothing. So you can kind of figure that's where the haberdasher came from for the name of this soap. Came across this soap by the way of a drawing in Instagram. There was 10 giveaways, and I was one of them. And so I won the soap in the drawing, then the giveaway, and then I bought the matching aftershave. Pretty nice. This is a really nice scent. There's a couple of scents that to me kind of come to mind as being one of those that's complex for my nose. Not that I'm picking up any one scent, picking up several scents, well blended. In other words, I'm not able really to pick them out individually, at least not by my nose. I know others probably can, but not mine. But this is a really nice scent. I would compare, as it goes for the, for me, at least my experience with my nose, the scent I would say is very comparable to Rushmore in being complex. Matter of fact, Rushmore got a compliment at work about Rushmore's scent and how nice it is. This one here, I feel like it's in that same category, which in other words, it's going to generate a response. Preshave today is what's left of it is from Phoenix Artisan Accoutrement. It's unscented, but it is mentholated. It's called Ice, and down to the very little sliver that's left of it. Got the lather whipped up here in a, I guess you might say, a yogurt style. It's on the wet side. It's not the big fluffy lather that I don't usually whip that up like that. I usually keep it on the wet side. This one here is not quite as wet as I normally would whip it up, but still wet. Smells great. If you look at Frank's Etsy page about this soap, that the scent may change as you're using it. I guess you might say on the dry down, in other words. It will change throughout the shave. I don't know if my nose will pick it up, but I'm sure others will. Excuse me. Here we go with a feather blade. I have not had, how can you say, any bad shaves with this shaver, even with the number of different blades that I've used with it. And so far, against the grain pass is usually the real test, but with the grain, this feather blade's doing really well. This is probably the best matchup so far for me. It actually feels smoother than the other blades I've used. Which is interesting considering that usually with a feather blade there's that edginess. You can definitely feel the sharpness of the blade. Don't really notice it in this shaver. There's a little bit of a tidbit on the President Truman's. Guess some people may not quite know. I didn't know until I started reading into it. Is President Harry Truman, that middle, what some may consider initial S. Believe it or not, that is his middle name. That is just the letter S. He started his, him and a buddy, army buddy, I guess you might say, his had started a shop with men's clothing, and ran into tough times during the Depression. But it even, the Gazette goes into some detail about even about his wedding suit and so on and so forth. It's pretty interesting. It's nice to read about these sort of things, you know, about presidents that you may not even be aware of. I really do think that I've found a perfect match for this razor is the feather. Treat Silver did pretty good. Like I said, I could still feel wasn't quite as smooth as this one, but it was fairly smooth. And it's an inexpensive blade also. Italian Barbers had about a 200 pack on sale for, what was it, around $10 I think, maybe a little bit more. In other words, real cheap. I should say inexpensive. Sometimes when you say cheap, it means poorly made. That's not the case, in my opinion. Tony's been quite active this morning. Tony's our German Shepherd. He made sure I got up at 6 this morning. I was trying to sleep in, yeah. I think he's used to me getting up earlier, so if I'm not getting up, he gets kind of concerned. He comes whining at the door, our bedroom door, and I get up and let him out. He's pretty funny. Yesterday being the 4th of July, I was trying to take it easy, but wife had other interests, so ended up moving some of the furniture, getting old furniture out, new furniture in, rearranging the living room, so on and so forth. Yeah, fun day on the 4th of July. But at any rate, so there's a chair. We have a big chair, an oversized chair, and we put a sheet on it, and Tony likes to get up in that chair and sit next to me. He's a good dog. Speaking of the soap, as it goes for the formula, it's tallow based. I probably should have mentioned that before. I know for some people that might be a deal breaker. For me it's not. Matter of fact, I like it. To me, I've noticed a slight difference. It's noticeable. I can tell the difference in between one that's tallow and one that's not. The way that I whip up my lather. For me, I can tell the difference. But do I like either one, prefer one over the other? Not necessarily. They all shave pretty well. You get one that's mixed up just right. This is really creamy. This is good stuff. I was tempted, I wanted to go ahead and get one final shave in this week with this one here. I was tempted to go with a Gazette shave, because usually, I say usually, I have never had an issue with Frank's soaps ever not being slick enough. If you don't follow Frank on Instagram, he generally shaves with a straight razor. So you know slickness is going to be where it needs to be. Every once in a while I'll whip up the shaving cream where it's somewhat on the fluffy side, just to see if I remember how to do it. Just a little bit of feedback on the against the grain pass. You can kind of tell the, at least with the way I whip this up with the shaving cream, doesn't have any problem getting through the, I guess you might say, through the grooves there, the opening. Doesn't clog up, in other words. It works its way through there. Hey, I really do think that's a perfect match for me. Feather blade, this shaver here, Semi Slant, that was a very smooth shave. Considering most people have an issue with the feather blade, this one here just worked out great for me. I think I found the perfect match. As it goes for the efficiency of the shaver, at least my experience with it is pretty efficient. I'm not sure I haven't tried it, to do just a 2-pass shave with the grain against the grain, or what works best for you. In other words, in the way of a 2-pass shave, and maybe the next pass may be nothing more than a pickup. There's very little left. In other words, this is the kind of shave that gets you through the day, and there's not a 5 o'clock shadow, if that works better for you. This really is a pretty smooth shave. Glad I decided to go ahead and go with the feather. I was going to go ahead and pick a Persona, but kind of felt like the cue ball would already give me a pretty good idea on how that shave would go. Cue ball, I feel like, is a Persona product. It does remind me an awful lot of the Crystal. This is a great shave. I can tell already. That was a really smooth shave. Every once in a while you can kind of tell if you're going to get some stinging little places here or there. You might feel like you didn't get something quite right, too much pressure, get the angle off, especially with a shavette or a straight razor. I usually know shortly thereafter, right about the time that I did it, like, that's going to be a problem there. This worked out really nice. Very nice smooth shave. I really like this razor. I feel like this razor, outside of the Parker variant, that this razor is going to be their, I guess you might say, their leader of their lineup of razors. It is really a nice razor. I'm glad I went ahead and got it. Every once in a while they'll come out, you know, folks will come out with new razors, and I'll pass on them. Wait 2 years or whatever the case might be, wait later and get them. This one here, when it came out, I decided to give it a try. I'm kind of a Parker fan anyway when it comes to DE shavers. Most of their shavers are right there, affordable, hit right around the $30 range, depending on where you're ordering from. If you go to the Modern Man, it's a UK website. It'll ship from the UK, but the shipping is usually really reasonable. You can find Parker razors there for right around the $15 mark. It'll change it up every so often. Some will be, in other words, some be offered around $15, and then wait a month, and then the next month there's a whole new batch of different razors that are at $15 mark. Parker razors, in other words, very affordable. Just depending on where you get them from, be cheaper in some places than others. And like I say, the shipping from Modern Man is pretty inexpensive. And also depending on where your dollar amounts, where you get it for free or not. But I'm wanting to say, last time I ordered from them, I think the shipping was under $4. In other words, not a whole lot of money for shipping. And if you catch them at the right time, you can catch some of their shaving creams at more than reasonable rates. I do stop by there from time to time, where I pick up, that's a good place to pick up Derby shaving cream. And that is what the restrictor looks like. It's pretty small. Now it's just a plastic insert in there, so if you're one that likes for it to pour right on out, you can pop that plastic insert out of there, that restrictor, and you'll get more out that way. But the way it is right now, you can shake it, you can kind of see how it's coming out like that. Smells really good. That's the reason why I put those links down below in the description also, because I know my nose is not going to pick it up. All I can do is tell you whether I like it or not. As it goes for the scent, I'm not real good at knowing what time of the year this scent should or shouldn't be worn, preferred, if you will, whatever the case might be. I wouldn't say that it's a bright scent, it's not a heavy scent. Couldn't tell you what time of the year you wear this one, but it does smell good. This is good smelling stuff here. Once again, Strike Gold Shave Haberdasher. Like I said, you really ought to check out the links down below. Good information down below. Look at that, under 20 minutes. That's pretty good. Got a lot of running around to do today on this Friday. Hope everybody's doing well. Everybody stay safe, and smooth shaves to you.